Hello guys, myself Sasri Kumar and this is day 55 of improving my communication skills and today I'm going to follow as we are doing every day. A little bit I feel cold, that's why things happened. Uh, yeah, so with today in the morning I wake up and I went for repairing our kettle and then I was shopping. I was doing shopping, and now there is a lot of things. So without wasting time, I'm going to read the book "The Art of Explanation" by Ross Atkins, and we are in chapter one, part nine. So part nine is useful. The best explanation are helpful. Whenever I want to explain something, I write a list of the questions that I think I will be expected to answer. If you can answer them all, there is a good chance whoever you are addressing will want to hear what you say. Example, in late 2019 and early 2020, Australia was tackling a series of huge bushfires. At the time, one of our most experienced producer was former ABC reporter Courtney Bambridge. Courtney was keen to really take on the story and across several weeks we posted a series of videos. The subject we chose were often guided by the questions we could see that people had about the fires and the response to them. Question like did Prime Minister Morrison's statements on climate change match what other in his party were saying? Was a failure to do more hazard reduction burning a factory? Was Ashton responsible for the fires? Was the coal industry impacting Australia's responses to the bushfires? On the list went video after video explicitly sought to answer the questions. We could see people asking. Video after video was heavily shared. Whatever the type of explanation you are giving, if you are catering to a need or desire for particular information, this will serve you and whoever were speaking to will. Forming a meeting about some prospective work to a conversation with a music teacher about a band you want to be in, to a presentations to the local council on an issue you can care about. If you can anticipate the information that people want from you, then you are much more likely to deliver it in a coherent and focused way. It also increases your credibility and increase their engagement. Ask yourself, have I answered the question that people have? Remaining focused on keeping people's attention and answering their questions are both great foundation for an effective explanation. But there is still one more possibilities of thinking going away. The final attribute of quality explanation is one that ensure all the previous nine aspiration are working towards one outcome. So there is next part. Tenth is clarity of purpose. Sometimes I have okay. Sometimes I have learned the hard way is that if you are not sure exactly what you are trying to do or say, people tend to notice. That was certainly the case in my visit to the office of the Independent, and I can easily recall many moments that have taught me this lesson. It's not a great feeling, and in those moments, it can be very hard to regain momentum and the attentions of those you are addressing. My main strategy for avoiding this is to address the problem in advance. Example, one lesson on clarity of purpose comes a long way from the world of journalism and TV. In this case, from Beijing. Being a teenager in the early 90s meant that, like many others, I got caged up in dance music. What began as a wide consumption of cassettes of lab sets morphed into a venial habit, and by my final year at university, I had turntable and a mixer in my room, a pile of record against my chest of drawer, and I had started to DJ through it admittedly mostly in my bedroom at first. 10 years later, I was booked a DJ at an event in Ranjit Park with a big stage for bands. The usually areas of veggie, burger, and crisps outlets, and a tent with a sound system. I had no I had no real feel for what the crowd would be or what kind of music they had be expecting. I still have the CDs I made of the track that I choose. There are all great tunes, but together we didn't make too much sense. Pool I had pool people in one. None of this matter in the scheme of things. It was still a good time, but the feelings that day of not being sure what I wanted to stayed with me, just as it has it has at some other gigs when I have not properly worked out what I want to play. Equally, the feeling of DJing when you manage to sync with what the crowd wants to hear is exhilarating. A few days after the Regent Park event, our eldest daughter, Alice, was born, and that was pretty much that of my DJing day until a recent and improper return to it. But the link between those DJing lessons and my efforts to explain is useful to me. That feeling of the chance opening up and not being quite sure what to do, it is familiar to me for occasionals on the turntables. There are moments where I am not clear on the purpose I am working towards, and as I have focused more and more on explanation as a discipline, I have understood that clarity of purpose is what helps us communicate, whether it whether it's with music or words. Without it, I easily end up with the same feeling from when I was playing records in Regent's Park of having the raw materials but knowing quite what I want to see. Okay, this thing is now hardwired into my approach to telling the news, and all journalists are familiar with the two questions: what's the lead and what's the top line, meaning what is our most important story and what is the first things we want to say about the story. When I think of the purpose of explanation, though I am thinking beyond those calculations, important as they are, I'm thinking about what the entirety of my telling of this story is trying to achieve. I want the purpose to run through every word. This thought applies to hundreds of different types of explanation and communication. If you are writing an essay at a school, the precise questions you are answering should guide every decision you make about what to include. If you are giving a work briefing about a new budget and how it will impact colleagues, if you have information that isn't explicitly helping to explain the nature of the budget or of the chance that will follow, it a stage or if you are raising money for a charities and hosting a local event, everything you say needs to work towards the goal of people feeling too motivated to donate. This may seem self-evident, but we habitually fill our explanation with information that, while perfectly interesting, isn't supporting our overall purpose. And when we do this, our explanation inevitably have well less purpose. One of the most powerful tests I use when I am reviewing any piece of communication or explanation is to go through it a step by step and ask of everything I am planning to say. Is it explicitly supporting the overall purpose? If you can remove anything which isn't doing that, and you end up with a collection of information that is completely aligned. This is a perfect complement to the work you have also done on making sure each piece of information is presented with clarity and simplicity. The purpose becomes the guide to every decision I take when preparing an explanation. This is why it's rare a week will go by when I don't say to a colleagues, but what we are actually trying to say here. There are maybe nothing wrong with the elements of a story we have assembled, but the way my script reads, the sense of purpose is missing, or there may be multiple purpose pulling in the different direction. We are trying to do several things and risking doing none well. Get that wrong and your chance of taking someone with you reduce significantly. Get it right and everything connect to the single purpose. The overall effect can be potent and deliver high impact communication. Ask yourself, above all else, what I'm trying to explain. The anatomy of a good explanation in short. This leaves us with 10 vital questions to keep in mind whenever we are explaining ourselves. It might seem a little over the top to check all 10 every time you set about an explanation, but these questions quickly become habits. Ask, at first, you ask them consequently. Ask them consequently. Consequently. Okay, I will mention. In time, they simply become part of how you approach communication in all its forms. And while I do much of this on instinct, now I still use these questions. They are incredibly effective at keeping me on track. Rather like playing a sport, being good at explanation is about learning a skills, but also about being sure to keep sharpening them. I still keep my list of thinking things to check to hand up, and hopefully this is one of how you can use too. Simplicity. Is this the simplest way I can say this? Essential detail. What detail is essential to the explanation? Complexity. Are there elements of this subject I don't understand? Efficiency. Is this the most sufficient way I can say this? Sufficient. Okay, गलत में भी गलत. Precision. May I say exactly what I want to communicate? Context. What does this matter to the people I'm addressing? No distraction. Are there verbal, written, or visual distraction? Engaging. Are there moment when attention could wave? Useful. Have I answered the question that the people have? Clarity of purpose. Above all is what I'm trying to explain. Now that you have considered the 10 attributes of good explanation, we need to consider who we are doing this for. The second chapter is know your audience. Know your audience. Yeah, this is also good. Okay, it will take time, but okay, just leave it this one. Now we are going to move towards our next session, uh, that is our GD topics discuss. Okay. Okay. So what is our next topic is our next topic is 3D building printing 3D printing of building means like that. So 3D printing in construction, sorry, 3D printing in constructions, actually be in it's come under BIM. So let's continue with that. 3D 3D printing has become one of the most exciting innovation in the construction industry. Instead of traditional bricks and manual labor, 3D printing uses a large robotic machine that prints the structure layer by layer using a special concrete. This makes construction faster, cheaper, and more precise. Today, the world is moving towards faster housing solution. A great example is India's first 3D printed house built in China in 2021, created by IIT Madras, a startup's T-Vasta. It was completed in just 5 days compared to the usual 3 to 4 months. This shows how much potential this technology has. Means 3 to 4 months works can be done into 5 days. 3D printing can reduce construction weight up to 50 to 60%, speed up project timelines by 30 to 40%, and even cut labor costs significantly. For a country like India, where we need to affordable housing and a smart infrastructure, this technology can be a game changer. It is also very useful for disaster recovery. After a flood or earthquake, 3D printed homes can be built quickly to provide safer shelter. Globally, companies like Icon in the US are already building 3D printed communities, entire 3D printed communities. Icon in the US. Okay. For civil engineering, the biggest advantage are design, freedom, high accuracies, and the ability to use sustainable materials like recycled concrete or geopolymer mixers. This supports India's push towards green construction and Atmanirbhar Bharat, and the technology reduces dependency on conventional material. In short, 3D printing is not just a modern trend; it is the future of construction. It's offer a faster, cleaner, and a smart way to build, especially for developing country like India that needs rapid and affordable infrastructure. 3D printing offer a powerful. Okay, let's try something different. If there is used to a start, 3D printing is transforming construction by allowing us to build a structure layer by layer using automated machine. It reduce waste, speed up constructions, and support affordable housing. With with India's already showcasing successfully 3D printed house, this technology can play a major role in a smart, greener, and faster infrastructure development. As we know, uh, it can reduce construction waste up to 60% and also speed up the timelines of the project to 30 to 40%, and also cut down it also cut down the time. Okay, we have already discussed. And so to conclude, 3D printing offers a powerful combination of speed, precision, and sustainability. It can help India meet its rising demand for using housing and infrastructure while reducing cost and environmental impact. For the future of construction, 3D printing is not just an option; it's a revolution in the making. So, okay, so that the things. Hi everyone, I would like to talk about 3D printing in construction, a revolutionary technology that turns ahead in our industry. Globally, the 3D printed construction market is projected to grow from USD 53.9 million in 2024 to about USD 4 billion by 2030. This means faster build-ups to 60% less waste and tremendous potential for sustainable affordable housing. For a civil engineering, this is a game changer. 3D printing or okay, guys, let's leave it. So that's the thing for today. I was a little bit tired just because I have went to the Dhanbad and when coming back to the Dhanbad in the auto, that's really hectic for us. Yes, the pollution is high, and in the early morning there is one conflict with the auto driver that is also make our day a little bit bad, but it's okay, fine. That's the thing, part of life, and yeah. And as I miss the early morning, so I will do some exercise right now, and then uh, in the early morning I will go and go and run. Okay, guys. See you. See you next day. Bye bye.